last February we did a press conference, the Senate and House Republicans talking about, because what happened, everyone's number one concern is these public benefits charges on our bill, not to mention just the high bills in general. So there's two parts to it. We have this public benefits charge, and one of the reasons your buddy Bill Buckby a couple of years ago had to put a bill in to separate these charges on your bills. You actually see what you're paying for. So public benefits got pulled out. So, boy, people are mad. So that was brilliant on Billy's part. So what do we do about it? There's also 40 other charges on your bill.
Right.
They need to go because we're paying for other people's EV chargers and rebates and solar panels. And you know, these things should be separated and legislated through the process, not shoved onto your bill by DEEP and Pura. So if DEEP is pushing for more renewables, and renewables are great, but they're never going to power the state ever.
Here's my issue as a customer, sitting back and watching you guys try to deal with this problem, and the frustration becomes, as closely as, you know, Dave and I and Ethan have followed this and tried to track it for our show and for our listeners, it's still very confusing, I think intentionally so.
Eversource is just trying to get power to your door, and they have to do everything based on what Pura and the legislature and DEEP puts on them. So there's where your expenses are coming from. Now, the real way to bring your costs down is to get more natural gas, but we don't have the ability to pipe enough of it in, which is the cheapest way to get it here, because otherwise you got to liquefy it and truck it in with diesel trucks, diesel ships.
So, Pat, where did these extra charges come along? Is it part of the compromise in the world of politics that these are tacked on? Because obviously anything, an initiative that someone says has to be funded in some way. Is it the, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul mentality that got us into this situation in the first place?
Well, David, it is when it comes to the public benefit portion when you're paying other people's bill.
Right.
That's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul when we should have used the ARPA funds that were supplied for just such an expense. So you're paying for the green bank, you're paying for your neighbors' solar panels in part, you're paying for the charger they put in for their EV, you're paying for their EV rebate. So you're paying for all these things, but they don't come through the legislature, is my point. We want these all out and be put in bill form so the public can testify in Hartford on these things, and they can be debated and put to a vote on the floor. Instead, they're just shoved on the bill.
And weren't the Democrats trying to block you guys from like even talking about this for a time period?
Yeah, I mean, because, and they're well-intentioned, but, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, I'm ranking member of the Environment Committee, and yet we have more bills coming up this year for more solar, more wind, which are 4 to 5 times more expensive, number one. And you're never going to have enough solar and wind to power Connecticut with AI coming, with all the additional demand. It's just not going to happen, guys. We need more power supply. It's either got to come in through natural gas or more nuclear. We actually have a bill this session to find out. It's called an EPR, an extended producer responsibility. Like with your mattresses, if you go to throw out your mattress, there's a charge when you bought that mattress, so you can throw it out for free. So now we're looking at what's going to happen with all these solar panels when they expire, because they have toxic elements in them, and what's going to happen with all these wind turbines other than shredding them over Nantucket Bay. They're stacking them out in the Midwest right now. They don't know what to do with this stuff.
New Fairfield State Rep Pat Callahan, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. Headed up to Hartford now, so I'll talk to you later.
All right, best of luck.